Long, long ago, before there were any people, before there were any animals, before there were even mountains or oceans or tiny grains of sand, there was only darkness. A vast, empty darkness that stretched on forever. Day 1. Light and darkness. Imagine the deepest, darkest night you've ever seen. Now, imagine it darker still, so dark that you can't see your hand in front of your face. This was what existed before creation began. The world was shapeless, like a lump of clay waiting for the potter's hands. God's Spirit moved gently over this darkness, like a mother bird hovering protectively over her nest. Then suddenly, God spoke the very first words ever spoken. The moment God spoke those powerful words, "Let there be light," a brilliant glow burst forth. Imagine the most beautiful sunrise you've ever seen, with golden rays streaming across the horizon, but even more magnificent. Light danced and sparkled, where before there had been only darkness. God looked at this shimmering light and smiled. "This is good," he said. Then, with careful hands, God separated the light from the darkness, creating day and night for the very first time. And that was the end of the very first day of creation. Day 2. The sky above. On the second day, God looked at the waters that covered everything. With his mighty voice, he commanded, "Let there be a space between the waters." At once, the waters parted. Some remained below, while others lifted high above. In between stretched a vast, open expanse, the sky. Imagine looking up and seeing, for the first time ever, that endless blue ceiling arching overhead. God called this beautiful blue expanse sky, and it separated the waters below from the waters above. God's creation was taking shape. The world was no longer just darkness and light. Now it had depth and dimension. Day 3. Land and plants. On the third day, God looked at the waters under the sky and said, "Let the waters gather together in one place, and let dry land appear." Immediately, the waters rushed together, flowing and swirling into deep basins. As the waters pulled back, something new emerged. Land. Hills and valleys, plains and plateaus rose up. The rich brown soil appeared for the very first time. But God wasn't finished yet. The land looked bare, so God spoke again. "Let plants grow from the earth." In that moment, the first tiny green shoots poked through the soil. Imagine watching as grass spread like a carpet across the hills. Flowers of every color unfurled their petals. Tall trees stretched their branches toward the sky, their leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Fruit trees blossomed and produced sweet, juicy fruits, apples and oranges, peaches and pears. There were vegetables too, crunchy carrots, leafy lettuce, and plump tomatoes. Each plant contained seeds to make more plants just like itself. God had created not just plants, but the way for plants to keep growing forever. As God looked at the seas and land and all the growing things, he saw that it was good. Day 4. Sun, moon, and stars. On the fourth day, God looked up at the sky he had made. It was time to fill it with light givers. "Let there be lights in the sky," God commanded. Suddenly, the greatest light of all burst into being, the sun. Its golden rays warmed the earth below. For the nighttime, God made a gentler light, the silvery moon that glowed with soft, cool light. And then, one by one, thousands upon thousands of twinkling stars appeared, like diamonds scattered across dark velvet. Some were gathered in clusters, others formed patterns and constellations. These heavenly lights weren't just beautiful, they had important jobs to do. The sun and moon would mark the days and nights, the months and seasons, helping people know when to plant seeds and when to harvest crops. God looked at the blazing sun, the glowing moon, and the sparkling stars, and saw that they were good. Day 5. Fish and birds. On the fifth day, God looked at the sea and sky. They were beautiful, but empty. It was time to fill them with living creatures. "Let the waters fill with swimming creatures, and let birds fly in the sky," God said. Immediately, the seas began to bubble and splash as fish of every size and color appeared. Tiny minnows darted through shallow pools. Bright tropical fish with rainbow scales shimmered in the sunlight. Enormous whales spouted water high into the air. Octopuses stretched their tentacles, and jellyfish pulsed through the waters. Above, the sky came alive with birds. Eagles soared on mighty wings, Hummingbirds zipped like tiny jewels through the air, and songbirds filled the world with sweet music for the first time. Imagine hearing the very first bird song ever sung, the cheerful chirping of robins, the gentle cooing of doves. God blessed all these creatures and told them to multiply and fill the seas and skies. As the fifth evening and morning passed, the world was becoming more and more alive. Day 6. Land, animals, and people. The sixth day dawned, and God was ready to fill the land with animals. Let the earth bring forth living creatures, God commanded. In that moment, animals of every kind appeared. Elephants with swinging trunks, lions with golden manes, rabbits with twitching noses, and deer with graceful legs. There were cows and sheep for farms, squirrels that scampered up trees, and tiny insects that crawled through the grass. But the most special creation was yet to come. God had saved the best for last. Let us make people in our own image, God said. Unlike the animals, people would be made to be like God in special ways, able to create, to love, to choose between right and wrong. With great care and love, God formed the first man from the dust of the ground. Imagine God's gentle hands shaping the man's fingers and toes, crafting his ears and eyes, and carefully forming his heart. Then God breathed his own breath into the man's nostrils, and the man became alive. God named him Adam. God placed Adam in a beautiful garden called Eden, full of fruit trees and flowers, with 4 rivers flowing through it. It was the most perfect home anyone could imagine. But Adam was alone, and God said, "It is not good for man to be alone." So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. While Adam slept, God took one of his ribs, and from it created the first woman. When Adam woke up and saw her, he was overjoyed to have a perfect companion. God blessed the first people and gave them an important job to take care of the earth and all the animals. They were to be loving caretakers of God's beautiful creation. As the sixth day ended, God looked at everything he had made: the light and darkness, the sky and land, the plants and trees, the sun and moon and stars, the fish and birds, the animals, and especially the people. It wasn't just good anymore, it was very good. Day 7. Rest. On the seventh day, God's amazing work of creation was complete. The world was full of beauty and life. From the tiniest insects to the mightiest whales, from the smallest seeds to the tallest trees, and people made in God's image were there to enjoy it all and take care of it. God looked at everything he had made and smiled. Then he did something very special. He rested, not because he was tired, but to show us the importance of taking time to rest and enjoy the wonderful things he has made. God blessed this seventh day and made it holy, set apart as special. Even today, many people keep a special day of rest each week to remember God's amazing creation. And that is how our world began, created with love and care by God, who looked at everything he had made and said, "It is very good."